Perfect. Now we're going. Welcome, everyone, to the Shorts That Are Not Pants Virtual Film Festival 2020. I'm Brennan Tilley, one of the programmers with the festival, and we're so excited to be across Canada this year. Thank you for joining us. And speaking of being across Canada, today I'm streaming out of Calgary in Alberta, and my guest Shaun Majumder is from Newfoundland. So we're having a great cross-Canada conversation about his film Truth Hertz.
Yes. So good to see you. So good to see you. Cheers. It's a film festival, so I'm trying to be very fancy with it all.
Yes.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Yes, and you're in a movie theater, so that makes sense.
that took a lot of rehearsal, everyone, but we got it.
We nailed it. One take wonder.
One take wonder. Yeah, we're experts at this. I'm a programmer, not a streamer, so we're good. But so again, thank you so much for joining us, Shaun, and thank you for letting us include the film. We love it so much, and it fits in so great with what we're doing. As someone that watches a lot of short films, I really appreciate what comedy shorts can do to packages and how they get together, and kind of it's a real treat to find a gem of a comedy pack.
Cool,
film.
Man.
So I really, as soon as I saw it, I just loved it and knew we had to have it.
Oh, that's great. I'm so happy to hear it.
Yeah. And so one thing I wanted to ask about is it starts with a title card that says, based on a joke someone's uncle told or something. I didn't look up the exact wording.
Right, yeah.
But is that really the genesis of this? Did you hear a joke and think I can make a short out of this?
Yeah. Here's the strange thing about this. Now this is a short film that is entered in a whole bunch of film festivals, kind of all over the world. I just got a confirmation I'm in the Moscow Short Film Festival, and a bunch of festivals that I submitted to. But it wasn't intended to be that initially. It's actually something that I'm putting together as a television show pitch. And one day, literally, the guy that I was working on it with, Mike Beaver, who's, he's well known in Canada, and I actually used to work with him on YTV back in the day. That's how we kind of met. We were actually roommates back in the day. And so he lives in Los Angeles. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. Still am, just here in Newfoundland, escaping the apocalypse. And so anyway, he and I were talking, and I one day I was like, you can conceive and write and think of ideas for television shows all day long, but it's always better to kind of put something together, put together a little sizzle, put together a little short or, a little something. And so I literally was like, I wrote it up, went over to his house. We shot it in probably an afternoon, and I brought all my own gear, and we shot it. And then I looked at it after, and I'm like, this is a really cool little short, And so that's kind of how it came to be. And yes, it's loosely based on, any stock joke that you may have heard before. But what I've always been fascinated by these stock jokes are they contain so much from a storytelling perspective, from when you're writing anything and you want to have an instigating incident, you want to have something that really triggers a longer story. What a better place to start than your standard stock joke that's out there. And there are so many of them that, are so perfect to be made into short films,
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was because that, watching the short, I felt like I knew every beat, except actually the last one. I mean, it has that bit of a twist. I was like, I thought I knew what this joke was. And then it actually hits that final, hat on a hat, right? And I was like, but yeah, it was really enjoyable to watch you're just so used to, like your uncle or some guy that corners you at a party. Like, I got a joke for you. You're like, okay, here we go. Yeah. Actually come to life. I actually really appreciate it and thought it worked really well. So you just alluded to how you're escaping the apocalypse in Newfoundland. I'm assuming you're, kind of letting your creative juices flow a bit while you're there. How is that different? Kind of being in Newfoundland right now. Are you finding that's affecting kind of what you're working on? Are you able to really, kind of think up some new stuff you're trying to work on? Or how does that compare to the hustle and bustle of LA?
There's two sides two edges to that sword. One side is you're completely isolated. You're in the middle of nowhere. you have no distractions, and so you have lots of brain space and ability to kind of, when you sit down and focus, you can do that here because, like many writers, they go places and they want to be alone on a cliff somewhere in a house writing. And so there's a little bit of that opens up all kinds of doors. But at the same time, when you're immersed in the world of Los Angeles or Toronto or, Calgary or any big center where, perhaps there's others around you with that buzz, there's an energy of creation happening all around you. You're motivated in a different way, and it gets you really stoked and juiced to want to keep doing that. And then you go out and you like, when I'm in LA and when I'm here too, but it's different here from a filmmaking perspective. LA is like hot and on fire all the time, especially for independent filmmakers where the weather's good. Now you can shoot everything on your iPhone and you can really put together a really cool story if the writing is there. You can go out and shoot anywhere. There's every level from guerrilla to all the way to, getting all of your permits and budgeting and all that. But in my case, here in Newfoundland, it is more about the writing than it is about the active shooting and creating, because I'm not surrounded by, an ocean of actors or an ocean of, maybe in St. John's, but I'm as far away from St. John's as you can imagine. I'm in actually not as far away, but a 6-hour drive from St. John's, Newfoundland, where, there's a lot of activity happening right now with different TV shows and filmmaking and stuff like that. So as a writer, yes, this is a great place to be right now. And it's been really good. And I'm working on several different things and stoking a fire.
Yeah. And as someone who's been involved in several different things and kind of watching your film, I actually, and preparing for this Q&A, I was like, I know him from so many things. I'm going to look back over what that list is, and got me curious. What else is it that you kind of have on the upcoming? I guess if there's anything you feel comfortable talking about, is there upcoming projects that you're stoked on or ideas?
Yeah. There's tons of ideas. There's always a bazillion ideas. The most exciting project I have in development right now is a little girl named Shaun Majumder. She was born August 24th, 2019, right in the middle of the pandemic. Just before, right? And so I've been very focused on that and bringing her here with my wife. We've kind of nesting here now, which is really, really interesting and really cool. But that's kind of my number one project. But on the writing side and the creating side, and even on the acting side, it's been fun. I wouldn't call this acting, but I just did a show in New Brunswick called Race Against the Tide. It was the most random job ever that I've ever received. And that was, we were packing up our car. We were getting ready to drive to Newfoundland. And I get a call from my agent saying, they want to offer you this show. And it's just hosting. It's their first kick at the can in the pandemic to try to do a COVID-friendly show. And it was a show that we did in New Brunswick on a beach, wide open spaces, all about sand sculpting. And it's called Race Against the Tide, about the Bay of Fundy and these world-class sand sculptors. They get, in the morning when tide's going out, the teams, there's 10 teams of 2. I'm the host. I get to say crazy stuff like, watch as we race against the tide, those kinds of cheesy lines. So much fun. And then the drone goes, pans out, and there's the Bay of Fundy, and there's cliffs and mountains. It's so cool. So anyway, so I just did that show. That's going to probably come on CBC in spring, summer. It's a perfect spring, summer show. And then as a writer, I've got a show in development with CBC right now that I'm kind of creating, and I will star in if it goes. It's not a thing yet. But we're in the process of developing those scripts right now, and I really love that process. And then on the other side of things, there's a few shows, including what Truth Hertz is kind of based on. I've got that in my back pocket, and several other shows that I want to develop as well. So been really focused on kind of the television side of things in terms of the writing. Because making features right now, it's so challenging in terms of if you're not paired up with a studio and you've got massive bank. It's just like, I'm going to make things that I know I can make. And that's what's beautiful about short films as well. You can just do what you love to do and get it done and get it into festivals, great festivals, like Shorts That Are Not Pants,
Yeah, and I mean that's we see so much passion in what's coming through, because someone that really wants to make a story, capture something in a documentary, make a joke, whatever, they can get out there, they can get their team together, and they can make it. So yeah, short films certainly are really exciting. In this environment where it's hard to get features made, it really is. It is exciting. Totally. And so, I mean, the topic of how the film industry and exhibition is going right now, maybe we'll close it just a bit about I know that the short premiered at Just for Laughs last month now. We're rolled in November, election season in the US. And so how's that been going so far in this kind of crazy year of festivals? What's been your experience in releasing this short to the world?
It's been surprising, to be honest, because I didn't know, like I said, I didn't set out with a goal in mind to create this, put all my energy into this short film as I have done with other shorts in the past. This short was more, like I say, I was like, hey man, we have this idea. Let's put something down. Let's shoot something. I can envision it. I want to direct it. And let's explore and experiment. So we put it together. And then, what was really cool too, is when I was working on this show in New Brunswick, I needed to really post it and polish it. And Hemmings House Films in New Brunswick, in St. John, New Brunswick, Greg Hemmings, who I've surfed with in the past, and he's a really great guy. He has this amazing company. And he worked with me on developing, posting it and getting all the really cool special effects that are in there, all the front end, the packaging, the titling, the credit sequence, and incorporating my film company. All these things that kind of came together in a weird way was surprising, like I say, because I didn't set out to do that. But now it's getting invited to be a part of other film festivals, and that's really cool. And look, I just think in film festival world, especially in short films where there's so much content, the goal here is to keep something nice, short, tight, get in, get out, leave people wanting more, have some questions. And, I will say, I'm not a DP. I'm not a camera guy. I have a vision, but I think it turned out pretty good, and for me, it's more about how would these actors interacting with each other with this idea, how would it feel at the end? And I think the hook is there where when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, I want to see what happens next. That's the idea.
Yeah, and I would say we as well want to see what happens next, and look forward to anything else you can send our way. Looking forward to any upcoming projects you have, and just want to thank you so much for letting us include your film in our festival. Thank you for joining me today for this discussion, and we love it and look forward to more. And again, thank you, and thanks to everyone that's watching as well.
Thanks, guys, and thanks. I'm so happy to be a part of the Canadian film industry. It's awesome. Cheers. Cheers to you.
Here we go. There we go.
Bye, guys.